Okay, this is the probability recap. Your grade 1 students are making passwords and they have to be 3 animals in the password. They have all of these animals to pick from. So altogether, that's 7 animals that they can pick from. And you're not allowed to repeat. So when they make the passwords, there's going to be 7 possible animals, 6 they could have choose from, and then 5. And that multiplies to 120. So what's the probability that Sam and Henry will have the same password? 1 out of 120. That they're going to have that exact same password. You're taking your driver's test tomorrow. If it's raining, you're going to have a 70% chance to pass. Oh, and if it's not raining, you're going to have a 75% chance to pass. There's a 60% chance of rain. Okay, so rain, there's 0.6% chance. Not rain, you have a 40% chance that that would happen. If it is raining, you're going to pass or fail. So if it's raining, you're going to have 70% chance to pass, which means you're going to have a 30% chance of failing. If it's not raining, there's a 75% chance to pass, which means a 25% chance to fail. So if we multiply those two numbers, 0.42, 0.18, 0.3, and 0.1. Okay, remember that these should all add up to 1 when you're done. What's the probability that you need to retake? So failing, 28% chance that you're going to have to retake it. A family of 7 is lining up for a photo. There are identical triplets in this family. So there's my lineup for my photo. What's the probability that the triplets will end up on the ends and the middle? So I want the triplets in those positions. So I would have 3 options of somebody I could put there. Then I would have 2, then I would have 1. And then the rest of the family could just rearrange however they want. So there's 4 people left. So 3 times 2 times 1, which is 3 factorial, and 4 factorial. So that makes 144 arrangements. What are the total arrangements? So if I had no restrictions, what are the total arrangements that could have happened? 7 factorial. Okay, so that ends up being 5,040 arrangements that are possible. So what's the probability of all the possible arrangements that my arrangement is going to happen? What's the probability of drawing a red or face card from the deck? So you have 26 red cards, you have 12 face cards, but don't forget, you're going to have a few face cards that are red, so you don't want to count them twice. So that would be 6 that would overlap. So don't count them twice. So that ends up being 32 cards altogether out of 52. What's the probability of drawing 2 consecutive cards from the deck without replacing them, and then them both being an ace? So on the first draw, to get an ace, I have a 4 chance out of 52 cards. Then I draw again, and now I would only have 3 aces in the deck, and I would only have 51 cards. So that's 12 out of 2,652. You have a 4-section spinner labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. You spin it 4 times. What's the probability that you're going to get the 1 at least 1 of the times? So you could do this 2 ways. 1 minus the opposite, So the opposite is not ever getting a 1. So if I don't get a 1, so you spin it 4 times. So what's the probability that you don't get the 1? 3 out of the 4. You don't get a 1, you don't get a 1, you don't get a 1. So 4, 4, 4, 4 is going to make a 256 on the bottom. So I'm also going to write this as a 256 over 256. 3, 3, 3, 3. That makes 81. So there's my probability. Okay, the other method is that you go the other way and you say, well, what if I get it once, twice, 3 times, or 4 times? That's at least getting it once. So if you get it once, 1 out of 4 is if you get it, which means you miss 3 times. Okay, but you have to consider that you're going to make it miss, miss, miss. You have to consider that you could have had a miss, make, miss, miss, right? You're going to have to consider that it's not just doing that, but there's 4 arrangements of how that could happen. So you have to consider that you're going to have 4 to make, or 4, and you got to make one of them. You're going to choose which one you make. So if we make 2, we have the 4, we're going to choose the 2 to make. A quarter is the chance to make, and you're going to do that twice. You're going to miss twice. Making it 3 times, so you got to do the 4, choose which 3 you want to make so that it activates that. You're going to make 3, so a quarter to the 3. You're going to miss 1. And on the last one, if you're making all of them, 4, choose 4, which you don't actually need that either, and a quarter to the 4th. This would be also why I don't need 4, choose 4 there, because 4, choose 4 is just 1. So if you did that, all of your fractions, 108 over 256, 54 over 256, 12 over 256, and 1 over 256, they would add up to the same answer. Okay, in a class of 90 students, 50 of them take pre-calc, 30% take applied, and 40 don't take anything. So 40% is outside my bubble, which needs, in my bubble, I need 60%. Okay, but 50 plus 30 of the people, percent, makes 80, which means there's a 20% overlap. So now in the pre-calc, if I need 50%, then this is a 0.3. 30% of the people in applied, so I need the whole applied bubble to have 30%. How many students take both? So that's 20%. But how many students? 20% of 90 students. That would mathematically be that 18 students would take both. So I could ask you other things like how many students only take applied. So that would be that number. So 10% of 99 students. When rolling 2 dice, what's the probability that the sum is divisible by 4 or less than 5? Okay, so when you're doing dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the options. And then we're going to think about the sum. So 2 would be the sum if you did that, etc. So filling this out is what you're kind of visualizing. Okay, so those are all the possible scenarios that could happen, which is 36 scenarios. Divisible by 4, so I'm going to circle those options. Those are all the ones I could be divisible by 4, or less than 5. So I don't need to circle those twice, they're already circled. So I can count now how many? 12 options out of the 36 is the probability. The probability of scoring on a shot is 3 out of 8. What are the odds against? So if you score 3 out of the 8, you are missing 5 of them and making 3 of them.